let's say you have your website that you are building in Tailwind, and you do a first approach to your website, and now you want to make it responsive. So you just, you start stretching the website, your structure, and you see that nothing is responsive, right? So how do we transform something that you already have here made up and that you really like when it's on a higher viewport resolution, and when you start stretching it, nothing works, it just gets a mess. So let's go step by step and understand how we can do this following a specific approach that I found out for my case. So this is the website of Zapper that I'm building on, mailable with an email template that well, we will never need to do again HTML. It's data-driven mailable that I'm going to release. But what I want to show here is how do we actually transform this in a responsive structure. So first, just this small snippet that you see here on the top helps me to understand where are the breakpoints. So as you can see, there is a default, and then there is an SM, MD, LG, and XL. That's the maximum one. So now when you see this default, what does it mean? It means that it's the default classes that we will use on our elements, and henceforth we are then start to make exceptions for SM, MD, LG, and XL accordingly to our best approach that we want to see here. So let's start by the minimum resolution. So what I do is I go to the default one here, and you see that everything gets a mess, right? But that's fine. That's where we are going to work on and see how much we can put it as we want. So what we need to do is you don't change much about your elements. What we do is we change our classes, our element classes to the default one that we have here, and we push the rest to the next breakpoint. And I'm going to show to you how does this work here, and you're going to see it's a very simple exercise that you can do, and it can help you a lot, because normally you can get lost on how do you do, like, okay, it works on a default or a SM, but then on MD and LG it starts to get very clunky and it doesn't work, and then you can start getting a bit on panic with all of these responsive classes that you're using and nothing gets as you want. So my approach is we start by, as you know, Tailwind is responsive first. So let's start by the default one. And this is the ones that we are here. So from top to bottom, we are going to put it as we want. So you can see it's a complete mess. Everything is completely out of sight. Even the top here, it's very bad. So let's start by saying, okay, I want to completely hide my navbar. When I'm on a very small screen, I don't want to show the navbar. So what we do go here to my code is you look at your navbar. So it's actually on my nav that I have here. And what I say is I want it to be hidden. And as you can see, it's going to get a conflict with this flex that is already here. So this is what I mean. You just push it for the next breakpoint. So you just push it, your next element that conflicts with yours, to the next breakpoint. And if you do an F5, as you can see, it just was just hiding the navbar. Of course, if I start moving on, it will appear, but we'll work on the next breakpoints after. So still on this default, let me just put it very close here. There is kind of a margin that I'm using here. It should be a padding actually for this one. So this is a very simple one. I just go to my hero section here. As you can see, there's a margin top 10. And what I want is actually a padding top 10 and not margin. So it gets fully filled up. And here, okay, we have two structures here. And what I want to do is to actually put them, the ASP.NET for ML template on the top and then the code on the bottom. To do that, it's very simple. So I'm dividing that hero section into two columns. Actually, it's one line with two columns with the weight half of it. So again, what we do is we push it to the next breakpoint. So here, what I want is a full width for both, and I push the other one to the next breakpoint. And when I do an F5, well, it starts to get a bit better. Now the text is aligned to the left. I want it to be aligned straight to the center. So I do again the same exercise here. So I search for that text left that I have here, and what I do is I do a text center, and I say the next breakpoint will actually have that text left. So on the right hero section, we don't do anything here, and for now, so let me just save it and click on F5. So as you can see, text got centered. Now the button itself. So this button, I want it to be a full width, and just also to tell you something here, you should include this. I placed it on my Twitter. If you want to just search for my name and check my notifications there, my tweets there. But all you need to do is just put these ones here because they're going to help you to debug your elements. So what I want to see is, okay, there is something going on here that I don't know what's going on. I don't understand how much can I, widen this button here. So what I do is I just write red, and when you put red, it outlines all of my elements. And of course I have the green one. The green just outlines the parent element in case it exists. Actually, in this case, the hero section doesn't appear because it goes outside of this viewport here. But if you put a red, then you see the internal elements that are here. So that's the children elements. So that's what I want. So there is a small padding here, as you can see. This padding might come, let me see here. So I have full width section, nothing on the top. Let's search for it. So nothing here. So the navbar, it's fine. So here, padding top, padding bottom, that's fine. And there is this padding right. See here? So again, we put it on the next one. So it gets out from here. And here also on the button is included. It's included here on this part of the left hero section. And let me just see here. Where is the button? Separate for each count. It's here. So let me just write the button here. So just for me to know where is the button. Subscribe button. I'm just going to put it here. End of subscribe button. So here we have this width 2/3. This is what is causing the button just to have that one. So again, we do a full width and we pass the width that was before to the next breakpoint. See, here we go. So it starts to become something. Okay, now here we cannot do anything because it's the Prism JS that puts this up for now. Nothing else. So for the default, it's good. Of course, now if you put it on the top, you see that on the maximum resolution, you still see it's okay, let's say so, but maybe not for the next ones. So this is actually where we're going to move on for the next. So default is done now. SM. So SM, we see that it gets back to how it was before we starting to the default, right? So what's going on here? We just finalized the default. It was working fine, and now SM, we need to do it again. But actually, it's like that. It's the approach that I'm following that might help you too. That is an approach to to do it breakpoint by breakpoint on this case. Okay, just one more thing here on the default. We are not using a full. We can use it a bit more here on the width of the global width, and this comes from this 2/3 that I'm applying here. So again, I'm going to pass it to the next breakpoint. I'm going to say, okay, on the default, maybe we want to apply 4/5. There you go. Even more, we can go to 11/12. Yeah, so here we go. So it's much better like this. See, the button is a bit bigger. Maybe the button could be a bit shorter, but for now, for the lesson, it's good. Just to show to you. So now let's go to the SM. So the SM, we go back to this one. So the navbar appears, but it's still very bad. So what we are going to do is to pass the navbar for the next breakpoint, and we do it the same way. Navbar SM. So this is actually when the navbar starts to appear on this breakpoint forwards, as you know. And what we need to do is let's just pass it to the next one, so it disappears. And there you go. So again, we want to do the same thing here for the for for the text versus the code. And here we do exactly the same. So when you go to the hero, you see there is a full here one. Sorry, on the left one there is a full, and then the SM starts to split it on these breakpoints. So we just move it to the next breakpoint. This is the trick. When you see something that is not well, you just move it to the next breakpoint. So, and moving this to the next breakpoint on my right one, I also move it to the next breakpoint. So as you can see, it gets now with full as default on the SM. Again, I wanted to show the same as the previous one. So I want to center everything and I want to put it 11/12. So let's go up here again and say that on the SM, I still want the default to be this one. Very good. So it's going to put it a bit bigger. And I want it also to be centered. So the navbar, it's out. But here on the hero, on the left one, there is a text left here, as you can see. So we move it to the next breakpoint, so it inherits the text center. The button, well, let's not put the button bigger because I think it's going to be very strange. But let's just center the button and everything here. So we go to the subscribe button, and we do have. Let me just search for it. So SM 2/3, that's good. And the button, rounded border, item center, align middle. I think we can put the text center here. No, sorry. In this case, an MX Auto, no. Okay, so it's on a, might be on the parent element. MX Auto. Let's see. There you go. It just got it in the center as soon as I made an F5. Good. So if I just, let's just say it. Yeah. So good. It's there. So now, as you see, it's on the center and the text is out. Let's just take the red one after. Just where I placed the red. It's here. Red. This one. Yeah. See? Starting to become something. So SM is good too, good to go. Now MD. So on MD, okay, I want the navbar to appear, and as you can see, it's still a bit messy. Let's try to do an 11/12 just to see if it gets a bit better in terms of the structure and see if we have some space here. So we say again that we don't want to use the MD with 2/3. We want to move it to the next one, and it's going to put it bigger. Nice. It's on the limit of what I like, I would say. Well, we cannot see the code so well, but I mean, you can always scroll, right? And you see the main methods that I want you to see. I'm not so interested for you to see the values there because, you know, it's just values. I think we can keep it like this. So again, here we don't have an F bar on the SM. Let's put it an F bar on the SM. Let's go here to Navbar, and you see MD flex, but let's start it already with this one. So I want to hide the zapper one. So what I should go here and say, you know, it's hidden except starting on the MD, that then it should show the icon. We treat about the alignment after. So MD flex grow. Sorry, where was my mistake? So the icon is there. Okay, so hidden. The icon is no longer there. Of course, MDF, exactly. So get out, get in. So on the MD it gets in, but on the SM I want the text to be centered, right? So again, the links to be centered, sorry. So here on the nav bar, we can use a text center. Let's just see if it's the right one. I always get a bit messy with the No, not this one. It's this one. Text center, text right. Oh, I made a mistake here. So I want the text center. There you go, text centered. But of course now it doesn't work. The text is going to be centered because we're not saying the rest, right? But we'll get there in a moment because we are still SM and MD. So SM, nice. So no navbar, a bit of it, the logo with some text. We still need to work on this zone here just in a moment. So actually right now. So we have the, I want to put the button on the left, right? It comes centered because of the previous one. So the subscribe button here comes with an MX Auto. So before it was an MX Auto, but starting now on the MD, I don't want no more an MX Auto. I want text left, and the MX Auto should be out. So on this case, we need to override MX Auto to its default value. Might be MX0. So if we are here and want to put it on the left, we want to say that, okay, here it was MX Auto, here it was MX Auto, here is no longer MX Auto, right? So what you need to say is that starting on MD, you want to put it with no margin. There you go. And but we do want to use, and then we'll just a red here, red on the top, this one on the parent element, just see. So I do want it to have the full one here, right? So in this case, the full width. So we go back to the button, and where it says SM 2/3, I want to pass it to the next one. Sorry, to the next one. There we go. So everything now, we can give a bit of a padding here. As you can see, there is a padding right and a padding left. No problem at all on that. I could actually take one of the paddings here. And to take one of the paddings, we need to go to the zone of the padding. That is actually left here section says starting on SM. And because on MD I don't want to have padding, I say then it starts on LG. So as you can see now, it removes that padding. So if I take out the red, it looks kind of nice, I would say. So here we are still okay. MD. Now we are almost there. LG. So LG, so sorry, let me just see something here. Yeah, so it's 11/12s all the time. Now here on the LG, I don't want to use 11/12s on the width, but maybe we can use kind of a 4/5. So let's go back to the 11/12s here. So the navbar is still not good, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So we are on the LG now. So LG says 2/3. No, LG goes for 4/5. There we go. I think it's better, breathes a bit more the elements. It's always good to have the elements a bit with space so they can breathe a bit. And here we do have some issues. So especially on the nav. So on MD is also wrong. I forgot to correct here on the top the nav bar. So let's go back to the nav bar. And as you can see, there is nothing here that talks about putting the links to the right, because here it's okay, it's centered, but here it's not. So when I want to put icons to the right, I need to discover where is the alignment of those icons on the right. So the links are here. So it says text center. So, well, it's exactly here. So text center comes all the way until the MD where I want to text right. There you go. So again, comes all the way as a center, in this case SM only, and then right and right, and an XL also to the right. Perfect. Where were we? On the LG, right? Yeah, LG. So here we can't do much more here on this one, but we need to correct this. Well, actually we can give it 11/12. Maybe. Let me see. Just using 11, 12 all the way. Yeah, it's better. It's okay, like this. I like it. Yeah, I like it. So let's correct the button. This button says subscribe for a discount, and you know something is not well with the letters there, as you can see, right? So let's go back to the button here, and the button has here LG 2/3. So let's put a 4/5 on the LG. There we go. Perfect. Done. No need to touch it again. So as we can see here, we do have default SM. Well, SM, the button is too big. We're going to correct it in a moment. MD, perfect. LG, very good. Going on. And then XL. XL, as you can see, well, there is some stuff here that because of the 11, 12. So let's just correct that very quickly. So where is the 11, 12? It's here. We're going to say XL. We go back to our 2/3, right? There we go. And everything gets back to the so let's check it again to see if we made some mistakes somewhere. So here we go. Nothing, all good. So SM, the button is too big. So one thing to correct. Let's correct it immediately now. So SM, the button is too big. I want it to be centered, but not so big. Okay, so we go back here to the button and we say, okay, it's doubly full all the way. Maybe not. On the SM, I don't want it to be full. I want it to be on the default, but not on that one. So we go here and we put SM and we say I want it 2/3, and it just gets better. Yeah, this check out the video on the left. Well, it could be on the center, especially on the SM, but again, I don't know. I don't want this lesson to be a lot of time, but for now it's good. Now the MD, as you can see, what happened here? Well, what happens is that this SM is now overriding, right? So we want the LG to be 4/5. Maybe we want already to start on the MD like that. Let's see. No. So looks like we need to have a full still for that. So this is the case that you do specify almost for each breakpoints what do you want to do. And as you can see now, it occupies all the way. Getting me in, well, it's not so good, but well, wherever, it's still good. As you can see there, get me in, but it's fine. Because the MD actually, this is a minimal breakpoint, and this is a much bigger one. Now, when it passes to the LG, yeah, this starts to get closer to our XL. And finally, our XL gets like this. And it's done. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you can take some lessons learned from here like I did. I'm still learning a lot about Tailwind, and it's an amazing, amazing framework made by Adam Whedon. Thanks for watching.